Hello everyone, I hope that your quarantine social distancing is going okay. Today we're working on 4.8 homework problems. Now, when I'm doing these, I'm not going to do every single problem that people request. I'm going to do the top ones, and then I'm also will pick certain ones that maybe I feel would be beneficial. Or if I see some that are very similar, I'm going to pick one or the other because I can't do the whole worksheet. That would be boring for you. So, first one, number 24. So, first thing we're going to do is actually factor the top, the bottom of both of them. So, two numbers that multiply to get -4 add to get 0 would be x plus 2, x minus 2. Two numbers that multiply to get 9 add to get 6, x plus 3, x plus 3. Still division. Two numbers that multiply to get 4 add to get 4, x plus 2, x plus 2. And two numbers that multiply to get -9 add to get 0, plus 3, minus 3. Now this is very important. I personally tend to write my domain restrictions right away. My domain restrictions are always going to be the bottom of a fraction. So these are all my domain restrictions. As you can see, those are all through the exact same thing. I do not have to write that out 3 times. So I'm really going to focus on these two for right now. So I'm going to already write my domain restrictions. So x cannot equal -3. This would give me a -3 right here. If I set that equal cannot equal 0. And a positive 3. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of shrink this so it's a little bit more room. Move that up. Oopsies. Got to keep that, looks like. And now I'm going to actually flip it. So the first fraction stays exactly how it looks. But we can change this division right here to be multiplying. And when we multiply, or dividing by the fraction is the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal. So now I can put the bottom on top, like so, and put the top on bottom. This is where you have to be careful. Right at this point right here, you have a new domain restriction. So sometimes people know that right away when you're looking at this problem, the top and bottom will be domain restrictions because both times when you're dividing and only dividing, you'll have on top and bottom. So that's going to add a new domain restriction, which would be -2. So now I'm looking at what can I cancel here? So looking at this, this is like one big long fraction. So anything on top can be simplified at the bottom. Just like if I had 5 times 2 over 5, these two would cancel because they're the same. So I have an x plus 3, and I can cancel that out with this x plus 3. One on top, one on bottom. Now, this was actually supposed to say a minus. I wrote that wrong. That was supposed to be a -3, so sorry about that. Let's see, what else do I have? I have an x plus 2 on top, x plus 2 on bottom. Anything else? I don't have anything else left here. So when I'm looking at this, what I have left on top is x minus 2, x minus 3. So I'm going to have x minus 2, x minus 3. Sorry, this looks sloppy. And on bottom, I have an x plus 3 and an x plus 2. They have to be the exact same. So since none of those are the exact same, this right here is my final answer. Whoops. And if you look at the answer key online, I have an incorrect answer because it says that I have a domain restriction at 2, and I don't have a domain restriction at 2, just at this -2. So here's my equation. Here's my domain restriction for number 24. Next, most requested question was number 10. So first I'm going to do is I'm going to factor. Now the only thing I can actually factor here is this problem right here. I can't factor these because there's no adding, subtracting. So I can take out a 2 out of both of those. So if I take out a 2, this is what I have. I'm multiplying, so I'm not going to be flipping my fraction. 15x squared. And I'm going to just write this as in parentheses. It doesn't really have to be. But now I have 2 domain restrictions. I have 10x cannot equal 0. And I have x plus 2 cannot equal 0. So my domain restrictions are x cannot equal. For this first one, I would divide by 10. 0 divided by 10 is 0. For the second one, I would subtract 2. So those are my domain restrictions. Now this is simplified, so now I can start simplifying the equation. Now you can simplify like this, and I think that's how my answer key looks like. Another way that you could simplify this is multiply it out. So I have, whoopsie daisy, 2 times 15 is 30. I have an x squared and x plus 2, that's what I have on top. And then I have a 10x, x plus 2. So you can actually multiply it out, and sometimes that's easier for people to simplify it. Now I have an x plus 2 on top and bottom, those two cancel. I can simplify 30 over 10. That's the same thing. I'm going to write this as 3 over 1. I can simplify x squared over x. There's more x's on top. So if I took away 1x, I have just a 3x. So technically I don't need to have this as a fraction because I just have what's ever left on top. So this right here is my final answer. 2 domain restrictions with my actual equation simplifying to be 3x. Next up, question number 13. Always for every single problem, first thing you should do is factor. So I'm just going to shrink this a little bit to give me more room. So if I'm factoring this, I can take out a 5. That's a funny 5 out of both of those. On the bottom, I can take out a 3, leaving me with this. On top, I can take out a 7. Here we go, and on bottom, I can take out a 10. Now, just like the last problem, there's 2 ways that you could do this. You can multiply or you can simplify at this point. But first thing, before I do anything else, oh, sorry that you hear my children yelling. Get used to it. Y plus 5 cannot equal 0. Again, y plus 4 cannot equal 0. Because of the fact only the bottom, we only care about the bottom when we're talking about fractions. So my domain restriction is y cannot equal negative 5 and negative 4. Why is it y? Because the problem started with y. So you could simplify there, and that's what my answer key does look like. However, you could multiply across if you want. So we have 35, y minus 4, y plus 5. And then we have 30, y plus 5, y plus 4. So if I look at this, I can cancel out this y plus 5 on both top and bottom. These two are not the exact same, so I can't cancel those. But I can simplify 35 over 30. Both of those are divisible by 5. So if I do 35 divided by 5 is 7, 30 divided by 5 is 6, and I still am left with a y minus 4 on top. That's a subtraction. And a y plus 4 on bottom. So right there is my final answer. So question number 12 got asked. And as you can see, I was starting to write it down, and then I looked at my answer key, and I thought, you know what, we're not going to do question number 12. This is not a question that's going to show up on your quiz. This is not something that you need to have right now. So we're going to skip question number 12 for those people who asked for question 12. The next question we're going to do is question number 16. So, again, just to save myself some room, this is the problem. I'm going to shrink it down and factor first. So what do they both have in common for the first fraction? I can take out a y. I'm really sorry about my dog. She just wants to go outside and play, and I don't let her. On the bottom, multiply to get negative 18, add to get positive 7 would be y plus 9, y minus 2. This one is multiplying. Just let you know my 2 favorite colors are blue and yellow, in case if you were wondering, which I'm sure you were. Factor the next, that's a y. Cha-cha, Charmin. And the bottom, y minus 9, y minus 2. Domain restrictions. So each of these are a domain restriction. I'm not going to write this one out twice because it's going to have the same domain restriction. So y cannot equal, for the first one would be negative 9. Second one would be 2. The next one would be 9. Sorry about that, my daughter needed water. So now I can look, what's the same on top and bottom? I have a y minus 2 and a y minus 2. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. I have a y plus 9, a y plus 9, and a y minus 9, minus 9. So all I have left are these two right here. So y over y minus 2 would be my simplified equation plus these domain restrictions. So next one is question number 17, division. Now, there's no factoring here because it's only adding, subtracting. However, one thing you notice is that I only have one variable on bottom. y. So I have to make sure to state that domain restriction. So if let's say if I just have y to the fourth, it doesn't really matter which one I pick, because it's the exact same, cannot equal 0. Well, if I take the fourth root of 0, the only domain restriction here would be y can't equal 0. So if y is 0, the whole bottom of the fraction would be 0. So I have division. So when I have division, dividing by a fraction, so this is the fraction you're dividing by. Dividing by a fraction is the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal. So now I'm going to simplify. However, I notice, hey, wait a second, I got a new variable down there. So I'm going to have to add that variable. X also cannot equal 0 because it's on the bottom of my fraction. Now, I'm going to first simplify 7 and 21 because 7 over 21 can be simplified to be 7 divided by 7 is 1. 21 divided by 7 is 3. So this is what you kind of see on my answer key. If I look, 12 over 24 can be simplified. And I can have 12 divided by 12 is 1. 24 divided by 12 is 2. So I'm actually going to multiply this equation across. So what I have on top is 1 times 1 is 1. I have an x to the fourth, a y to the fourth, and 2 times 3 is 6. I have an x over y to the fifth. And on my answer key, I don't do that step, but you can if you want, or else you can simplify like this. So I can simplify my x's. So I have 1 over 6. I have more x's on top, so I would subtract. So I have x to the third on top. For my y's, I have more y's on bottom. 5 minus 4, I only have 1 y left over. So these two restrictions, oh my gosh, my dog, with that equation would be my final answer. And the last one I'll be doing for this video is question number 20. Now, if you're kind of wondering, oh, why wasn't my question be picked? I tried to pick more singletons that were division, because division is a lot like multiplying. It only has that one extra step when you change it to multiplication. So here's my question 20. Again, for all of these problems, first thing is to factor. My first equation, they both have a 3 in common. So I can take out a 3. My second equation, they both have a 6 in common. So I can take out a 6. Division. 18, you can't do much with 18. These both have a 5 in common. Yay. Do not cancel anything at this point. Don't cancel. So I have two domain restrictions. Y plus 2 can't equal 0. Y plus 1 cannot equal 0. So far, y cannot equal a negative 2 and a negative 1. Since it's division, you cannot cancel. So this first fraction stays exactly how it is. Dividing by this fraction is multiplying by its reciprocal. Okay? So, looking at this, I have nothing that I can cancel with my y's at all. But I can cancel this 3 and this 6 right here. I can say this would be a 1, and this would be a 2, 3 over 6. And then I have nothing else that I can cancel. So, on top, I have y plus 1 times y plus 1 over 18 times 2, let's see if I can do that in my head, be 36, y plus 2. Now, another way that you could write this, because y plus 1 times y plus 1 is y plus 1 squared. And 36, that's a 30. You get it. You get it because you guys are so smart. Final answer. Oh, my two favorite colors. There you have it, 8.4 review. If you still have questions, make sure you're emailing me some questions, and we can try to set something up. Have a great, grand, wonderful social distancing day.